Very good. Well, thank you for coming on with me. Well, you're a big lifter. It's like you've got an important presence in powerlifting, so you were definitely top of the list for people that I wanted to get on.
Thank you to you to invite me.
Yeah, have you done many podcasts before?
I did some with King of the League. Yeah, I did some in English.
So you're okay. Well, obviously you're okay with talking in English. So
Yeah, but don't talk too fast.
okay, I'll try not to. I actually do have a tendency to talk quite fast, so I'll rein it in for this one.
It can just be hard for a French, I think even for someone who is not native English to understand different accent in English, and especially when you speak like very fast. I'm like, oh my god.
What is my accent easy to understand?
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
good. What was it like trying to understand the American accent?
Well, it depends where you come from, USA, but it's kind of okay.
Okay, cool. But you're quite good with languages, right? You're a school teacher, and I know you learn other languages as well.
Yeah, I love language.
Yeah.
I
What
love
do you like so much about it?
the one I like most.
Yeah.
I would say English.
Are
I
you
would
just
say
saying
English.
that?
Or Hebrew. I don't know.
Hebrew is how did you get into Hebrew? Is that in your family or?
I'm Jewish.
Oh, okay. Very nice. So everybody has to learn Hebrew if you're Jewish, right?
Not everybody, but most we do. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Well, yeah, I hope you're okay with talking about some of the more personal things that I asked you about, like Asperger's and everything.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, cool. Well, it won't be the only topic of the conversation. Obviously, you're a fantastic lifter as well, and you do live in France, and there's stuff to talk about there as well. So let's just get into it. What is life like in France right now during the pandemic?
So we are in our third lockdown now, but it will end by the end of the month of May. So, and normally everything's gonna open back in June. So I don't know, it's very strange because during the first lockdown, like you can feel a real weird atmosphere, but right now it's like nobody cares anymore. Like before there were nobody in the street. Like you can feel like people were afraid. They feel scared and stuff like that, but now like they just don't care. Everybody is in the street. Nobody respects anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we are supposed to be in lockdown, but it seems like nobody respects it anymore.
Yeah.
I think people are just upset about it and just want life to come back at usual.
Yeah, that's the way it is here as well. Mostly the younger people, like around my age group, everybody is just like piled into park and like they're in the city center, just like, well, we're Irish, so we drink during the day, and yeah, it's just crazy. It looks like a festival, like outside, like a music festival. Is that kind of like what is over there?
I won't say that, but yeah, like everybody's on the street doing their stuff. People are upset with wearing the mask. Yeah, and you have like I don't know how to say it, but normally we don't supposed to have party, but more and more people are doing it, like in private stuff, and the police coming out.
And are you allowed be in a gym right now?
So it's our personal gym. Yeah. Where I lived, but no, officially gyms didn't open back. They are supposed to open back like in June. Right now, they are closed since last year, like so more than 1 year. But if you are a top athlete, like a professional athlete, or you need to do sport, like if you are sick or stuff like that, you have a kind of paper your doctor do to you and you can go to the gym. But the same, but people are cheating with that and everybody has a paper. So everybody is supposed to be sick and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they are not supposed to open, but actually they are open and people are going. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, people were doing that with holidays as well. Like, if you could travel abroad, like to Spain or to France or wherever, if it was mandatory travel. So, like, if you had a slip of paper that said, like, I have to travel for work
Yeah,
or
the
for a
same.
hospital, but people are just lying and they're like, I have a dentist appointment in 2 weeks in Marbella, and they just don't go. It's very funny. Well, people are getting away with it.
Yeah, they're just doing fake paper and stuff like that.
Yeah. Nobody
It doesn't
checks though, so it's fine.
make sense. So
Yeah. And when all of this started last year, you started training in your kitchen, right?
yeah, I did.
How was that compared to normal?
Sorry.
How was training in your kitchen? What was it like compared to training in a gym?
It was very different, obviously, but I really like it. It was a very, very good experience to do to lift in my place. I like it because, well, you can train whenever you want, like just 2 meters away. So it's very comfortable for that, and to be alone too. It's a challenge, and I love challenge. So it was very good experience to me to do that, and I improved a lot my mental and stuff because I had to lift a heavy, no spotters, and I was a little bit worried for my throat sometimes. But yeah, it was. I like it. I really enjoy it. But I like gym too, like with my friends and music and stuff like that. And you can chill, you can talk. So two different atmosphere, but I like both.
And where did you get the equipment from? Did you buy it or did somebody give it to you?
So we have our gym, and in our gym we bought the equipment. We are 4 or 5 friends doing that, and when they were talking about lockdown, I knew. So at first in France they say, oh, it will be 2 weeks and we will see, but I knew because I'm a teacher, and at school they told us we won't open back school before June, and maybe September. So I knew that the lockdown won't be 2 weeks, and I told that to my friends, and I say we won't be able to go to the gym, so we need to do something in order that everybody can train at their place. So we just dispatch. I don't know how you say, like we just shared the equipment between us. So yeah, I just took what I needed, and that's it.
Nice, handy. Yeah, the place you train in now, the gym with your friends, it's definitely got good energy in it. You're always dancing and everything. It's fun to look at your social media.
Yeah, we are a bunch of friends. We are very close, and we are all funny now and in our ways,
Yeah.
We're a little bit crazy.
Yeah. Well, it must be a good environment to lift in as well.
Yeah,
Not just because it's fun.
important. I think it's very important the environment where you lift, because we push each other to be better. Like when when you are about to lift, you are a little bit scared about it. You don't want to fail and stuff like that, and we push each other to do it. So yes, I think it's very important to have good people around you when you train.
Yeah, absolutely. Like right now, I train in my shed. I have equipment because no gyms are open in Ireland, and it's basically like me, like what you were doing, training in your kitchen, right? There's no people around. Although I like blare a music from a speaker, so it's probably a little bit better of an atmosphere. But I can't wait to get back to a gym and just train with a load of people around me, just like with a really buzzy atmosphere. It'll be very fun.
Yeah, I understand. So it's cool to train alone, but I think like sometimes you need to be with people around, and not just be alone like all the time.
Yeah.
It's cool for a short time. I think if I had to do that like for 6 months or 1 year, I would like, oh.
Well, yeah, I've had to do that for about a year, and sometimes it's hard.
2 or 3 months. You did that for 1 year?
I've had to do that for the past year, yeah.
Oh my God.
It's actually okay because I'm like quite introverted. Like I only have a certain amount of time during the day. What?
I'm introverted, yeah, also, but during 1 year. I think I say that, but I think you just get used to anything when you have to. I prefer to lift alone in my play than not able to lift at all.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when I lift around people, it's like especially like for a squat or a bench. Like I love squatting. It's my favorite lift, and I just love when you have all the spotters around you and they're shouting at you, and it's a really heavy lift. It's just such a good vibe. People look like a non-powerlifter looking at that scene would think we're absolutely crazy, but it is great fun.
Yeah.
I think it's good though at the same time training alone. Like what I found squatting and benching without spotters was that it gave me a lot of confidence under heavy weights. Not having anybody else to rely on, not having that safety net. It gave me a lot of confidence under a barbell, and I'm very confident in picking a weight. Like if I have a heavy single to do, I'm very confident in just stepping under the bar and doing it. Whereas like when I first got into powerlifting, I was very reliant on having spotters, you know, because I felt safe. But now I don't really need that as much. Did you find that at all?
Yeah, I totally understand what you mean, because I was used to say, well, so I was used to train alone before. I had that gym with my friends, but well, it was not very alone because I was in the gym, but I was the only one doing pro lifting. Like so most of the time I was asking for spotters and stuff like that, even if I didn't know that people. But yeah, as you say, when you are alone in your gym, you can't rely on someone. You are alone, like you have no spotters, anyone. It's just you and the bubble. So I felt that I after when I came back at the gym, I felt more confident. I was not asking for spotters because yes, you were there, you were alone, and you have to confront yourself with the bubble. So you just gain more and more confidence in yourself. So I think it's a good exercise actually to train alone.
Yeah, it's not a typical thing that you'd tell. Like if you were coaching somebody, you wouldn't, like, the first thing you say would not be, yeah, just go and train alone for a year.
Yeah, sure.
But if you are in that circumstances, there's a lot of benefits.
But I think at some point it's good, because in the competition you are alone. Like even if you are the sporters and stuff like that, you are not at your gym. You are not, like, you don't have your music. And I think sometimes it's good to confront yourself in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And you train with the second best powerlifter in France, Pana.
Yeah, Panayotis.
Yeah. He's an excellent lifter as well. He's a 66 kilo lifter, right?
Yeah.
How long have you known him?
So he started powerlifting. I was doing it, like, it was maybe my second or third years. It was my third years, I think. So I met him at French Nationals. It was, I think, 3 or 4 years ago now. No, 3 years ago. And yeah, I met him. And so I was training alone at that gym at that time. And I wanted to find a bunch of people to train with sometimes when I have heavy lift and stuff like that. And so I met him at Nationals, and he's living near Paris. And at that time before, there were not so much people around Paris doing powerlifting. And so I connect with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it's her girlfriend or his girlfriend. No, his girlfriend. And yes, it's matched directly. We get well. And so I started to lift with them. And after, we just had the idea to have our gym where we can train. So you have no schedule. You can put your music how loud you want. You can invite who you want, you know. So, and we built that with other friends who came after. So yeah, this is how we met.
Yeah, lovely.
And after he became my coach. At first, he was not my coach. And I didn't get well with my last coach before him, and I wanted to change. And I asked him, and this is how we started. The rest is history.
The rest is history, absolutely. And how long has he been your coach for?
So we started it was just word in 2019. So 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah. Nice. And what do you think is the biggest like difference between him and your last coach? Like what makes it better?
So Pana is someone who really care about people. He really care about you, how you feel. He will listen to you. And he's very benevolent. I don't know I don't know if it's the correct word. Bienveillant in French. I'm just checking to see how we say it. Yeah, benevolent to say. I don't know if it makes sense. Kind. Yeah.
Yeah. Caring about you.
Yeah. So and I didn't have that with the other one. And so it's very. I don't know if Pana would say that, but this is how I feel it. It can be hard to work with someone who is autistic, because, and I think Pana will say that, because I'm very ritual. So to make me change something in my routine, it's very, very hard to tell me that try this, try that. It's very hard to, because as soon as it's not in my routine, I'm like lost.
Yeah.
Totally. So yeah, and he knew to deal. He know to deal with that, and the other one didn't know at all, and so it didn't work.
And Pana has you doing a lot of competition lifts every week. Am I right in saying like it's all you do is the competition squat, bench, and deadlift? Like right now.
So Pana do more variations than me. But for example, I don't do any variation. I just do squat, bench, deadlift.
Yeah.
Because my philosophy is you have to do squat and no tempo squat or pose squat on the day of the meet. So I want to be the more specific I can, and I will do only tempo or pose squat or sorry, my God. With stuff like that if I need to correct something or to work on something to improve my comp squat. But at first, I just do comp lift.
Is that
but Pana do most comp lift, but he does variation too.
Yeah. And is that how it's always been? Have you always just done squat, bench, and deadlift?
No, I started that when I started with Pana. No, with my last coach, because before I was doing more kind of power building, kind of bodybuilding power. I didn't have so much main lift on the week. And the coach before Pana, I get more specific. And with Pana, I get even more specific.
And how much has your lifts improved by doing like just hyper specific competition lifts compared to when you were just kind of bodybuilding, power building?
Nothing to do at all. Like I will need to check I was supposed to do so I did my French nationals in 1980, and I would need to check, but I did like maybe a total like maybe 440, something like that. And I switched with a new coach, and I improved. Like I did only doing comp lift. I improved by like 30 kilos in my total in few months, like 4 or 5 months. It's has been huge. Huge.
Yeah, well, your best total is 547.5 right now, right?
Yeah, I did that in February.
Yeah. So I mean, since you did that total at French Nationals, it's a 100-kilo increase anyway. So something must be working. When did you first get into powerlifting? How did you get into it? Like, why did you start?
So at first, I was very interested into fitness, bodybuilding. I was watching the physique of that girl in social media, and I was like, oh my God, I want to look like them. And there were a girl who were doing competition, like bikini competition in France. And I reached out to her, and I was like, oh, I want to do the same as you. How do you do that? Do you have any coach? And so she introduced me at my first coach, and so I was doing my stuff in my house, my parents' place at first. I have a little bit of equipment, and I was doing in the garage. And at some point, he told me, "Okay, you will need to lift in a real gym, because if you really want to do competition that way, you won't be able to do it with what you have at home." Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, but I never been to the gym. I don't know what to do. I was very, very afraid. And he told me, okay, you come. He was living in the south of France. He told me, you come with me 1 week. We're going to live as a gym. I'm going to show you all you need to know. And like that, you will be able to go to the gym alone at your place. And I said, okay. So I did this 1 week in the south of France. And at that time, I didn't realize that I was already pushing heavy for someone who is totally beginner. And so he introduced me to powerlifting. Like I did squats, I did bench and deadlift, and I was like, I love it. I love to push heavy and that kind of challenge. And so he told me about powerlifting, that it was a real sport. I can do competition. I say, okay, I just want to do that. I don't care about fitness and bodybuilding.
Yeah, I don't want to diet. I just want to eat and live.
Yeah. And I was very, very happy about that diet stuff. Like I can eat whatever I want. No.
Yeah. That's why I'll never be a bodybuilder either. Like, God, eating such little food for so long, it's just not for me.
It's not for me either.
No.
I love to eat too much.
Yeah, so do I. And how old were you when you did your first powerlifting?
My first, it was, I did my first French nationals. I was 22. So my first meet was 25 to qualify for French nationals. I was 21, years
21.
old.
Okay. And am I right in saying you first were diagnosed with Asperger's at 22?
Yeah. So I started all the medical stuff, like test. I was 22, but officially, like when I get diagnosed, I was 23. When I had like all the tests done and everything.
Yeah. So you started powerlifting before all of that.
Yeah, but I knew that something, I won't say something went wrong, but I knew that I was different at that time already. Yeah. I just didn't know what name to put on.
Had you known your whole life, or was this just a realization that you came to later in life?
I knew all my life because people told me, like when I was at school. So I didn't know I was different because of me. I knew I was different because of other people. I don't know if it makes sense, because other people were telling me. For me, I was like normal. And so for example, kids at school were telling me that I was weird. But now I can understand why I was weird. Like I was not telling good morning or thank you. I was not talking at all. I was always alone. And most of the time I was reading books.
Yeah.
I can understand now.
Yeah. Was that hard growing up?
Sorry?
Was it difficult for you to feel like you were different?
It was hard because people were rejecting me. It was not so hard for myself. It was hard because I couldn't have link with people. I didn't know how to do it, and people were not helping me at all. They were just judging me all the time. So yeah, it was hard for that. I would like to have met people who were more kind and indulgent, and not always on the judgment. But well, it's hard to have that for a kid.
Yeah, kids are mean.
Yes, they are.
Kids are mean. You know this. You're a school teacher. They're mean. Yeah. So you didn't play any sports as a teenager, really?
So I did sport, but not like a high level. Like parents when you put your kids to sport because you have to.
Okay, yeah, just to give them something to do.
But I was totally not passionate about sport. I was like, and actually and that's very weird because I love powerlifting, but I just focus on powerlifting. If you ask me to do another sport, I'm like, no. There is this kind of people who really love sport, like doing any sport, trying any sport. They're gonna run, they're gonna do hiking, they're gonna do so much stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that way. I just do powerlifting.
Yeah, yeah. And what do you love about powerlifting that you didn't find with anything else?
Sorry?
What do you love about powerlifting that you never loved about any other sport?
I don't know actually. I think it's just that I like the lift, like the pure movement, and I like that way that you lift heavy.
Yeah.
You don't have that in other sport, like wear heavy stuff, except in like strongman or stuff like that. But in any sport, you have that. And I had sport with balls like tennis, because I have motor trouble.
Yeah.
Without this.
Yeah.
So it's very hard when there is too much stuff at the same time with my body and too much for my brain. So I can't do that kind of sport.
Yeah.
And you can't express any strength really, you know. I don't know. So I think it's just that way you can express your strength lifting heavy, I think.
Yeah. Is it fair to say that you like it as well because like it's dependent on you? Like it's not about what other people do for you, like in a team.
Yeah.
Like you all have to work together, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think it would have been very hard for me to do a team sport. I think it wouldn't have been possible at all.
Yeah.
And yes, you are alone, so you just rely on you and you do your own stuff. And yeah, I like that part, like it's individual.
Yeah, that's what I love about it as well. As I said, I'm like very introverted, and I did play team sports growing up, but I always just got annoyed at everybody else for not doing the right thing. But what actually prompted you to go and get tests done to see if you had autism?
So I was at school at I don't know the equivalent in Ireland, but it's kind of university. Yeah. Doing my stuff to be my study to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And one of the teachers said, because we were working on how to deal with disabled kids in our class, and she said that kids precoce, I don't know how you say in English. Sorry, I just check.
It's okay.
Precocious child.
Precocious, yeah.
When I was a kid, psychiatrists and stuff like that, medical stuff, say that I was precocious. Okay. And she said precocious children are a kind of autism. And so I was like, what? And so I started to do research in internet, and more I was reading about it, and more I was like, it looks like me. And I wanted to be sure, so I found a way to how I can be officially diagnosed, and yes, so this is how I knew it.
Did anything change for you when you had an official diagnosis?
It changed a lot, because before I was thinking I was crazy. Okay. And that if I didn't have friends and I was not able to make friends, it's because I was a bad person and I didn't deserve to be loved, to have friends and stuff like that. So it totally changed my mind, because I realized that I was not crazy. And it helps me to accept myself and to work on myself, because before I knew I had trouble to do stuff, but I didn't know why, I didn't understand how, and I couldn't explain it. And now I can explain it to people, I can talk about it easily, and it very helped me to work on me, to be better, to be able to make friends. So yeah, it helps me a lot to have the diagnosis.
Do you think there's anything about Asperger's that is actually a benefit?
I think there is a lot of stuff with benefit, actually, because most Asperger's, they have I don't know how to say it, specific interest.
Yeah.
And when they do have that, they know everything about it. So it can be very helpful for some stuff in some brands or stuff like that, like companies. They can work a lot, like when they are focused on something, they can work a lot. They are super sensitive, and I think it's a strange actually to be sensitive. They're very loyal people. They don't cheat. They don't lie. They are not able to.
Yeah.
And they pay attention to details. They are very perfectionist in everything they do. So yeah, I think that that's a strength in our world today.
Yeah. I've done research of my own about Asperger's, and one thing I came across was that a lot of people with it are very good with languages.
Yeah.
Just they're very eloquent with their language. They're very technical with it. So it's quite, well, obviously you have a huge passion for languages. So would you say that's because of that, or just?
I'm not able to tell, but maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe I do. I love to learn new languages.
Yeah. Fair. Was there ever a point once you found out that you had it that you felt bad about it?
I think it can be difficult in day-to-day life because autistic people are someone who get tired easily, like they have very low like you have a bar of energy for going your day, and autistic people, their bar like get empty very fast. So it can be hard to manage that my energy. Because when you are tired, like you are not able to do anything. So that's the first point. And after, like when you have new challenge with people, or I don't know, like the first thing who comes to me, I always go to the same grocery shop. If one day I have to go to another grocery shop, it's like a huge challenge for me because I don't have my mark, I don't know the people, and you can totally freak out. And like in that situation, for someone normal, it's like it's not big deal, you know. But for autistic people, it's a huge thing, a huge challenge to try new things, to go to new places where they're not used to. And it can be hard to people to understand because they're not very passionate about it. And they won't understand if you are starting to cry and you don't want to enter and stuff like that. So it can be hard to deal with that too. And after, I would say it can be hard with social stuff, like to say hello, to say goodbye, to have to kiss people. Because I don't know if you have that in Ireland, but in France we do, to say hello, we shake hands, or we do like this.
Yeah.
Most autistic people, we hate contact most of the time.
Yeah.
If you have a contact with me, it's because I authorize you to do so, because I do like you.
Yeah.
But when I don't know people, I don't want them to touch me, to shake hands, and I have to, because I know this is a norm, you know. So it can be hard to deal with norms sometimes, like really, really exhausting.
Yeah.
And after, I will say, like the sensitivity, it can be hard. For example, the noise. Most of the time, I always have my headphone, and I know people can be upset about it because, like, she's talking with me with a headphone, but actually, if I don't have my headphone on, I can't talk to you because there is so much noise around me that my attention, I can't focus on what you are saying, and you're gonna repeat yourself so many times. I was like, sorry, can you repeat, please? Sorry, can you repeat, please? So it helped me to slow, no, not to slow.
Concentrate?
To concentrate, and all the sounds around will be lower.
Yeah.
And I can concentrate on your voice and what you are telling me.
Yeah.
And what is difficult too, it's to look people in the eye. I had that eye contact.
Yeah, I get you. Are you on any kind of medication? Like, is there any form of help that way, or is it?
So you can take antidepressant. I don't know how you say in English.
Antidepressant.
Yeah, that kind of anxiolytic.
Okay.
But I don't take it. I never wanted to, because it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all.
Yeah.
So I'm in therapy since I'm kids, but especially since I'm Asperger's, I'm in therapy with a specific professional for that. And I think it's better to be in therapy than taking drugs, because it doesn't help, it doesn't change. So, okay, you're going to take your antidepressant, but if you're not able to go to the grocery shop to make your, how can I say it? Your grocery shop, you won't change anything, you know? You will take the pills, but you will stay at the same stuff. You won't still able to have friends, to go to have kind of normal life. It will be actually worse. So no, I never wanted to, and I think I will never do. I prefer to go to a therapist, to talk, to find ways to do exercises every day, but no medication. But there is people who are taking it, but I don't think it's a good thing to do. But well,
I like I said, I've done some research of my own on it, and it seems like just counseling and speech and therapy, like you said, is the best way to help you, because you don't want, like, one thing that I do know about those antidepressants and like SSRIs, so like mood stabilizers, is that a lot of people, they just feel different when they're on them. They kind of feel dull and they don't like themselves. So I don't really see how that could be a benefit for somebody who already has a hard time understanding things, you know.
So it's a little bit like cryotherapy.
The cold therapy.
Yeah. So for me, if I would have to explain, it's like kind of cryotherapy, because they say that you will recover faster, blah blah, and this is not true. You just go and your muscles you don't feel anything anymore. So you think you are good, but it's just that the pain it's cold, like the pain you can't feel it anymore for a short time, but it doesn't have to recover. And that's the same with pills. Like in a short term, you don't feel the pain anymore, but it doesn't change the problem. So I prefer to solve my problems and not just to not be in pain for a short time.
Would you have any advice in case anybody is listening who is going through the same things that you went through? Any advice for people going through it?
I think the first thing is to not be afraid and ashamed to talk about it. There is people who reach out to me and say, "Oh, you say it to people. I near you. I'm not supposed to tell it to my family," and stuff like that. Yeah, I think so. First, I would say you need to talk about it when you feel you are ready to talk about it. And it took me time. Like, people know me now, but it took me 3 years to talk about it. Like, and I feel like before these 3 years, I was in therapy, and it took me 3 years of therapy to say, okay, I'm ready to tell people I'm autistic. And I feel the need to tell people I'm autistic, because this is part of my path, of my life path. And I need that step to accept me, because I have to accept me, but I want people to see me, the real me, as I am. And I don't want to lie about it. So I felt ready, but it took me 3 years. So first, it will be take your time, the time you need to accept it yourself, because it's a big deal too to accept that you are different and you have a neurological pathology. But once you do, I would say that don't be afraid and ashamed to tell people you care, because if they really care about you, they will be a support. They won't judge you, and it will help them actually to understand you better. Because I remember my parents, they were like, I don't understand why you act like that. I don't understand you. But they wanted to. They tried the hardest they can, but they couldn't because they didn't know why. And now that they understand why, it's way better. It's way better. We have a good relations. We can talk. So, and I can explain to them. So, yeah, it will change, but in a good way. People think that it will change in a bad way. They will be more rejected or stuff like that. But actually, I think it's the contrary. And my last advice would be to not be ashamed to go and to tell people that you are in therapy. Like, there is no even if you are normal, you don't have any pathology, go to a therapist. I think it's healthy. But people are making a big deal about it, like, oh, if you go to therapist, like you're unstable or crazy or whatever. But I think it's something very healthy to go to a therapist, to work on you, to work to be better. And so yeah, my advice is.
Well, it's great advice, and I think a lot of people will benefit from. Have many people reached out to you online since you've openly spoke about it?
Yeah, I was surprised how many people reached out. So not especially for them, but they were like, oh, my kid is autistic, or my niece, or someone of my family, or my friends, and they are asking me advices about it, like what they can do to help, how they can react, or stuff like that. And I really appreciate it because it shows that people cares and want to try their best. So yeah, I was surprised about it, and I was surprised too when I said it, that I had so much support about it and people didn't judge me, because that was my first fear. I was like, okay, people gonna see me different, they're gonna reject me, they're gonna make fun of me, and I was afraid of that. And actually, it didn't happen. Yeah. Well, there is always people want me, but but it's very, very low compared to all the support I had.
So you were surprised because you thought people would be more judgmental?
Yeah, really, but actually not.
Yeah. Is it easy for you to put yourself out there on social media and like just display your personality?
It's very hard, very, very hard, because I'm very introvert person. Because people doesn't think I'm introvert because they see me with my friends. With my friends, I'm not. Like, I feel confident, I feel great, but most of the time I'm very introvert. So it's very hard, but I'm trying to. For example, talking to a story when you do a fast cam,
yeah.
and talking, it's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah.
But I try because I know that I'm getting new sponsors, I'm getting more followers and more opportunities, and I know I have to do that now. But very hard, very, very hard. And most of the time I do it, or I write posts I want to post and I delete it. And so I try to do less that now, and to put myself more out there. But it can be hard.
Yeah. Do you do anything in particular beforehand to like calm yourself down or anything?
Sorry?
Do you do anything before you make those posts to like prepare or calm yourself down?
So when I really want to talk about something, it takes me time. So actually, most of the time it took me like between 3 days or 1 week. So I prepare my post and I say, okay, and I put it, I give it to read to my friends, to my family. What do you think about it? And so most of the time I have support about them. And I'm like, okay, you can do it. You can post that. You can do it. And I'm always hesitant. I write it. I'm about to post. I'm all like, okay, you can do it. I post it. I close my phone. I was like, okay, just breathe 5 minutes. You did it. And after I come back and I comment, I do the stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it can be funny and hard at the same time.
Yeah.
Challenging.
What's the best thing that has come from doing that? Like putting yourself out there, growing your social media so that a lot of people know you now.
What I like about it and to do about it is to break cliche about autism first, about women, about strength in women, like women's strength. I like to do that because it's challenging to people. It challenging their own belief about stuff. And I'm happy that people see the real me. Like, I was talking about it with a friend a few days ago, and I say, I see people telling, oh, I stopped to put filters. I want real and blah blah. And I was like, I never have put filters in my life, in my photos, in my stories. I don't do anything with my photos. Like I didn't even touch the lights or stuff like that, except if it's professional stuff, like kind of SBD stuff and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
my own picture, I don't touch them because I'm like, I don't fake. I don't like fake.
Yeah.
I hate fake
Yeah.
stuff, and I want real stuff. Like, so I'm very happy to be able to show myself as the real me, even if it's just sometimes, not all the time, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that these days. People just putting up completely fake photos of themselves, photoshopping everything. Even powerlifters. You see some of these people in person after you've seen them online. Is that even you? Like, you really don't look the same. Like, guys who are 5'5", looking like absolute giants in a photo, and then you meet them in person, and it's like you're all the way down there. It's quite funny how some people feel they almost have to do that.
Yeah, I don't feel like I have to do that. Like, really, I don't feel pressure about social media in the way that I need to be kind of perfect, because this is not real life. Real life is not that. Like, I'm thinking about women stuff, but when you see some bodies in online and people compare themselves to that, but most of the photo, they are not real. They are Photoshop, and they are posing in their most relevant, the most beautiful part and stuff like that. So you can't compare to that. So I'm happy about that kind of body positive stuff, because they show real stuff about life. So I think there is good stuff in Instagram too.
Yeah, there are a lot of good things that come from social media. I think the original intention of social media being to bring people together, help connect people that you otherwise wouldn't have known. I think that part is still there, but there is a very bad side to it. Like you said, giving people unrealistic expectations of what you should look like, how you should act, how much fun should I be having. I think it's it's really bad for young people, especially. There should be like a ban. There should be like a ban on social media if you're under a certain age, because for a lot of younger people,
normally you can't be in social media and under 13 years old.
Yeah.
But well, you can lie about your age, so.
When I first joined Facebook, I lied about how old I was because there was an age limit. I think it was 16 at the time, and I was like 13 because at the time I just wanted to play the games that were on Facebook, but then I got quickly sucked into it all. I don't know if it was for the better, but it's here to stay. Do you think powerlifting is a sport that more girls should be doing?
I think it's growing.
Yeah.
I think there will be more and more girls into it. I think it will be more and more popular in few years too. Because of social media, actually. I think social media for powerlifting do everything.
Yeah.
Because we are not in TV, we are not in Olympic channels or stuff like that, So yeah, I think everything, and this is basic, like when you go to the gym and you just want to do kind of bodybuilding and stuff like that, you do squat, you do bench, you do deadlift. So, and people love to lift heavy, most people. And I think it's easier for boys, but for girls, I think that a lot of girls are showing that you can be strong and don't look like a man and still be feminine, sexy, beautiful, and stuff like that. So I think more. Well, this is how I feel, but I feel like more and more girls are attracted by powerlifting than bodybuilding stuff, because it seems like people want to be strong now. They don't want to be like only in the physique, only in the appearance. They want something more deep. And when you are talking about strength, you are talking about something deeper than just your physique, You are talking about your physical strength, you are talking about your mental strength, and that help in your life. That will help you in your life, what you have to do.
Yeah.
So
have you learned anything from powerlifting that you have brought into the rest of your life?
it's funny that you add that. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know, but I have to go to a new place and I'm freaking out and I'm like, come on, you are lifting 200 kilos at the gym and you are not fucking able to go to that place.
Yeah.
So it's challenging me.
Yeah.
It helps me challenge myself because I compare what I'm able to do, what I'm capable to do in the gym, and I know I'm good at it. And after when I'm in my real life, I'm like, you do that, but you're not able to do that? Really? No, you're gonna do it.
So it gives you confidence.
Yeah, it brings me a lot of confidence.
You're a bit more than good at it. You're the #1 lifter in your weight class in the world. So
yeah, so it's very weird because sometimes I just forgot about it.
yeah.
Like I don't feel like I'm the best. I don't feel like I'm better than anyone. It's very weird. Most of the time I'm used to underrated myself.
Yeah.
And there is something Pana told me. It's like he told me we were talking about the coaching on the phone, and he told me what it always impressed me about you. It's like you are the best lifter in the world in your category, and you are always working and training, and in your life like you were the last one. And that way I feel. I always feel like I'm the last, and I'm the challenger, and I need to do more and to be more specific and to be more to be better. So because I think if you think you are the best and you don't challenge yourself anymore, it's not good because people want your place.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be #1. Did you always have that mindset? Like so when you first got into powerlifting, was a goal of yours to be the best, or were you just doing it for fun and being the best kind of just came along with it?
I directly wanted to be the best because this is how I am. Like when I totally give myself to someone or to something, sorry, I need to be the best, to do to be on the top because this is how I work. So when I started, I was like, first I was watching at France. I said, okay, I want to be the best lifter in France. And once I had been the best lifters in France, I wanted to do international meet. And so I started my first international meet in 2018 with Europeans, and I finished second.
Yeah.
And so that meet was a little bit like a challenge to me because it was totally new. And I was like, okay, this is how things go. Okay. And after that, I'm going to train harder to be #1.
Yeah. What else changed? Was it just that you trained harder when you were in the gym, or did you put more focus into other aspects of things?
The focus, I work harder, the coach, my mental set, my mentality. My mentality changed because before it's weird because before it was like kind of dream. I wanted to be #1, but it was more like a dream, I was like, I'm gonna work and we're gonna see, And when I realized that I really had that potential, and when I met Pana and Pana told me, I think you can be #1. I was like, really? Because it was a dream, but I knew I could be one of the best, like top 5, top 10, but I didn't know that I could break records and be #1 really, even if I wanted to. But when he told me that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna work harder. I'm gonna do it. And actually, even if I didn't did it, was challenging too because I challenged myself. I had been to the place like I never thought I would have been before.
Yeah. So obviously you want to get better. You're #1, but you don't quite. You're like, it's okay. Like I'm #1, but I could be better. What other goals do you have for yourself then for the next like 2 to 4 years? Do you see yourself doing powerlifting for much longer?
Oh, I think, I don't know, like until I can't lift anymore. I don't know. I don't know when I will stop competition actually. But for the moment, I still want to compete. But I would like to be a world champion. Like once in my life, I would like to live that. And to be, I don't know how you say in English. when you are number one in the ranking, but all the girls.
Best pound for pound lifter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you are number 2 right now.
Yeah.
I think Amanda Lawrence is the only woman ahead of you right now.
Sorry?
I think Amanda Lawrence from America is the only drug tested lifter ahead of you right now.
Yeah, she's the first.
She's great.
So I would like to be a world champion and to be the best lifter once in my life in girls.
Do you think you'll ever total 600 kilos?
I don't think so.
No?
600? Oh my god.
Well, you're basically at 550 now. You've put 172 kilos on your total since you started, so it's only another 50.
As a 63, I don't know. Maybe as a 69, I think it will be maybe possible, but as a 63, I don't know. It will be crazy. I would like to. But for the moment, it looks like more a dream.
Okay, well, I think it's certainly possible anyway. But what else? It's okay. I can edit this bit out. I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Okay, it's okay.
Oh yes. Would you ever like to be a coach of powerlifting one day?
So I coach a little bit when people really ask me, they want me to coach them, and I choose because I'm very picky with who I want to work. But as a main work, I don't think so. I'm not patient.
Yeah.
I'm not at all, and it's very, very exhausting to me to have a lot of people to talk to every day, and it will be too much for me, I think. So I can do it like with 2-3 people who really want to and stuff like that. But with 20s of people every day, I won't be able.
Yeah, just too much.
It will be too much and too exhausting. And I like more to do seminars, webinars, stuff like that. It's only one day. You can share, you can train. And I have to prepare myself just for one day or one weekend. As a main work, no.
Do you have any plans for seminars or webinars once the world kind of gets back to normal?
I would like. So we were doing it with Pana already in France, but we had the COVID stuff, so we had to stop. But I think we will come back to do it as soon as everything opened back. And I would love to do that, like doing seminars with Pana all around the world. I think it will be a dream. I will like that.
Yeah. You'd have to take time off of work as a teacher to do that probably. Or would you do it just during the summer holidays?
Yeah, I can do with my holidays. We have a lot of holidays in France. Like every 6 weeks of work at school, we have 2 weeks, 2 weeks of holidays.
Oh.
And we have summer holidays too. So yeah, I think I will be able to do that.
That's class. So for every 6 weeks in school, you have two weeks completely off. We have 9 months straight of school and then a 3-month summer holiday. We only take like 1 week breaks every like 3 months.
Yeah, but at school, how many days you work and which hours?
Monday to Friday, usually about 8:45 or 9 till about 3:30, 4 o'clock.
So we work 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, until 8:30 to 4:30. Yeah.
Okay. So you have you have 3 days off as well.
Yeah.
Man, I want to go to school in France.
You can be an English teacher if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I got a H1 in English, so
we just work 18 hours at college. 18 hours.
The lecturers.
Yeah, if you want to be an English teacher, like in a French school, you only work 18 hours a week.
That is, and what's the kind of pay like?
So if you are official, it's around. You start because it's growing up your salary. But you start at 1,800
a month.
Euro.
A month, is it?
Yeah, a month. Sorry.
A month. Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad for 18 hours a week. That's all right.
Yeah,
it's okay. What kind of teacher are you? What do you teach?
So I teach for kids, 7, 8 years old. And I teach everything: French, math, science, history, geography.
Nice. My sister is actually, she went to college for primary school teaching as well, and she wanted to get a job. She lives in Manchester in England. She works with smaller kids now, though, like kind of 2 to 5, and she loves it.
Okay.
Do you like your job?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I don't think I will be a teacher all my life, but for the moment, yes, I do.
What else would you like to do?
It's very exhausting.
What else would you like to do?
I don't know yet, but I think at some point I will just try to be my own business or stuff like that. Because I would like to feel more free. Because it's exhausting, and I saw the difference when I had only to think about powerlifting and to train for powerlifting, and now that I have to work and do my powerlifting stuff.
Yeah.
I'm getting more. I'm closer to 30 years old than 20 years old now. So
yeah.
So yeah. At some point I will stop my job, I think.
Well, whatever you do, I wish you all the best. I think
Thank
you are
you.
an inspiration to a lot of people with autism and a lot of young girls. I personally know a lot of girls who do powerlifting in Ireland who absolutely adore you. They look up to you. So you have a fan base in Ireland, and
I have to come to Ireland at some point. I would love to visit that Iceland.
Oh, you have to. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great place for a holiday when it's not raining. It's literally always raining, so you're gonna have to plan ahead, see what the weather is like.
Yeah, I would like to plan that. I don't know, like if 2 weeks will be enough to see most of the island, like to see most of the Iceland. But yeah, I would love that, I think.
Mm-hmm. What kind of what would you like to do more? Would you like to go see like the nature, like the countryside, or just the different cities?
I think the principal cities,
yeah,
for sure, but most of nature and landscape and the sea, do hiking, stuff like that. I love.
This is a great place for that. We have the Cliffs of Moher, we have the Giant's Causeway, we have beautiful hikes as well. I only live 10 minutes away from a beautiful hiking trail that a lot of people go to. It's a lovely place for it. But if you do go to the cities, you'll I don't know if you like to party or not, but Ireland is a great place for pubs and clubs. You won't be too far away from a pub if you ever want to get a drink.
I'm not so much into that, but I think it's important to go to cities, like the most famous city in each country. Like if you come to France, you have to visit Paris.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I do the same with other countries. The capital.
Yeah. Well, you can go into Dublin city centre, go around Temple Bar, see the O'Connell Bridge. You can see the GPO, where there's actually still bullet holes in the building from when the Civil War was going on. It's a pretty cool thing to see if you've never seen it before. So you can do stuff like that.
I will let you know if I come.
Okay.
Well, you're gonna do me a checklist what I have to.
Yeah. I'll set you out a schedule. I'll be your tour guide. It'll be great. Well, I won't take too much more of your time. I really appreciate you coming on. It was great to talk to you. And
thank you for your time. Thank you for the podcast and everything.
It was awesome to talk to you. So for anybody who's listening to this who might not know who you are, where can people find you on social media? And just plug anything you want
to. So it's Lya Powerlift in Instagram. I just have Instagram for the moment.
Yeah. And do you have anything else going on? You like codes, like, because you're a sponsored athlete, right?
Yeah. So I have to tell my sponsors?
No, you don't have to. It's up to you.
No, so I have SBD as a sponsor. Nutrimuscle, it's a French supplements company. They are coming for UK, so I think you will see them too. They are one of the best here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all.
Well, yeah. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.